Hi everyone, delonewolf here and welcome back to some Stellaris. In today's video I'm probably going to end the playthrough with current Sporen Collective. I have learned a lot and I have reached some of the goals that I wanted to reach, including, take a look at this baby over here, a partial Dyson sphere, which now brings me 100 energy credits a month. Not bad at all. It looks really cool as well. And this is the second mass structure, superstructure that I built. I've got another one here as well in Alutra that is completing the third stage, which is a ring world. So here we have the first ring world surface that's actually ready and being populated by my little spore drones here. They're working hard to get me more and more resources, and we are working on ring section D as well, which will be finished in just 220 days. So what we can see from this ring world is that it has consumed everything except the star in the system. So there was like a little asteroid belt here, a couple of planets as well. All of that does get absorbed by the ring world, but I would say that this is the most powerful and most useful megastructure that you can build from the whole set, just because this one is going to boost your economy, boost your influence, give you a little bit of everything that you might want. It's basically a perfect world, 5x5, great conditions, and you can of course then tailor that to your own liking when it comes to production. I'm focusing very heavily on minerals at the moment, and the reason is because a patch of the game itself caused my minerals somehow to drop from like plus 550, which was a really good position, plus I think it was like 700 energy credits, plus 550 to 600 minerals. Then here the food actually was like up to plus 700 for really fast growth, and that has been nerfed somehow through the patch, which doesn't feel too good, but I am still, of course, way more powerful than anyone else in the galaxy. Still, at this point, I have to admit as well, reaching these megastructures, it becomes a major waiting game. That is one thing to know, that it takes a really long time to build these megastructures unless you go for, there's a perk that allows you to build these twice as fast, but yeah, getting a perk slot for that is again going to take you huge amounts of time, so this slows down the game very much. This is definitely end game stuff that you honestly might want to play at more than normal speed. I tend to play Stellaris at normal speed so I can be in control of everything, know exactly what's happening, and can pick up on all the changes and stuff that the NPCs do. But when it comes to building megastructures, this does take a very, very long time, which is quite unfortunate. Now my fleets, they are good and ready. So we have a main fleet here in Sporius now that is at like 150k. As you can see, just a huge pile of battleships. But if I were to use that, you see that my resources do drop substantially because of the extra maintenance that is needed there. So it's definitely a good idea to keep those above Sporia. And then we also have a second fleet that is ready over here, which is another 100k for our little outpost that we use to defeat the Unbidden. And in the meantime, the Union of our Prime and the Apex Authority have completely closed in on all of that territory and grabbed it before I could. So that's basically the state of the game. I'm definitely like the most powerful one. I could start trying to conquer everyone and things like that, but I don't really think I'm going to do that. I'm going to take most of the lessons that I've learned and probably start a new game of Stellaris. In the meantime, let's just watch as this one, the second part of the ring world, actually comes online. Let's take a look at that. Just another 20 days. It is pretty cool, of course. Getting 4 perfect planets in a system is really great. 100 population tiles for this is definitely bringing your system in line with some of the best systems, but there are better systems out there, and again, I still personally really prefer, so here is the next one. I personally really do like the habitats myself. I think that those are pretty powerful. So now we can colonize that. We can choose someone to colonize it on, and we might want to do here for the extra energy. Not that it's that important. This is probably better because we can get mineral and energy boosts. So we'll look to colonize this one over here, which again is going to increase the influence. This is really good, really powerful, and probably, in my opinion, the best superstructure. Now we could get started maybe on another one. Let's take a look and see if I have like a construction ship that I can use. Where are you? Construction ship. Let's take a look here. Construction. Down here, huh? So what we could try, let's see if we do for the megastructures. So a ring world, probably your best choice. It's just really powerful. It allows you to keep growing. You can also invest a lot of your other resources into that ring world itself. So I would say that that is, in my opinion, likely to be the most powerful. But here now you actually see the problem. I'm lacking influence. And this does really become your bottleneck when it comes to the megastructures. 300 influence is quite a little bit, and the habitats costing 100. I tend to try to spam those around so that I can increase my population and my economy more quickly. So your real bottleneck is undoubtedly the influence. The Dyson sphere, really good as well, but I don't think you will ever need more than one, right? Up to 400 energy that you can get from a single one. But it's not that difficult to balance out a healthy energy credits without a Dyson sphere. Then the Sentry Array is probably really good as well, giving you intel eventually over the entire galaxy. So I would say that if I had 300 influence, that's what I would build next. A Science Nexus plus extra science can of course give you that massive boost, but we're already at 1,000 research for each. So how much is 30 or 90 going to add? Not that much compared to a ring world. This is just 10 laboratories for the first for like 30, and you can upgrade that with an extra 10% on the shipyard and things like that as well. I still think that the ring world eventually will be better than something like a Science Nexus. And the habitats, of course, the mini ring worlds, basically 5,000 minerals and only 100 influence is really what I like a lot. And so I have quite a few habitats running over here. If you look at the surface for that extra minerals, because that became a problem after the patch for some reason. But if we look at the habitats within my sectors, they run with a lot of research here, and so this here is already plus 10 of everything pretty much when it comes to research. So compare the investment of a couple of habitats to the investment of one of these Nexi or an entire ring world, and it's really not bad to go for habitats instead of those ring worlds. I do like them, especially in systems where you don't have a lot of planets. Then this is absolutely great. Probably can't beat it. This guy is being colonized as we speak, but for most other systems, yeah, habitats are probably the answer. And so maybe to end this series, because this is going to be, I'm pretty sure, the last video of this Stellaris playthrough. I'm gonna play more of the game, just trying to apply some of the lessons that I've learned, and that's maybe what I want to end up with here. First of all, having a good start is still super important, right? It's the fact that Sporius right here, I think, had an influence with 4 or 5 stars right off the bat, which did give me 5 energy. Here you can see energy minerals, a little bit everywhere, and then a decent way to colonize ahead up to, like, let's say the 5 core planets at least, is still very important. While in command, okay, that's very good, thank you. So the early starts, you know, you can really gimp your game by having a very bad start. After that, of course, it's the classic Stellaris experience, what we've always done, right? Try to grow in line with having enough military to defend yourself against pirates, against other empires that will take advantage if you're too weak, things like that. But eventually, if you have a strong starting economy, you can definitely outgrow them and stay competitive in that arena. But then I would personally say go for unlocking the habitats as quickly as possible, and that is with Voidborn, which does take a little bit of time. You'll need to get up to the battleship technology, so it does take a decent amount of time. You'll have at least 5 core planets, maybe even more by the time that you reach that, but this one is really powerful, very versatile. It's just a nice dump of influence and a nice dump of minerals that gives you that extra range. Often on star systems you'll be able to expand much more quickly, and that was my biggest mistake. I would personally want to take that as my first or my second perk if I can. That is really much better even than 10% research speed, I think, or definitely Defender of the Galaxy is something that you want to do later, and it's going to give you a massive boost earlier on in the game. So I could have done way better than what I've done here with the Sporen Collective, just by going as quickly as possible for Voidborn. I would even say you're very likely to first take this Unity perk. I think you could manage it with sectors as well, but let's say that you unlock a second one and you don't have the technologies for Voidborn yet. Personally, I would just wait. I would leave that perk slot open until you have the techs for Voidborn as your second Ascension perk. It's just that good, in my opinion. Here, for instance, in Sporius, you can now see that rather than having just one capital city, which is a really good city with 18 tiles, I now also have here full tiles with research, resources. All of these are extra habitats, and it's within my main system. They're gonna have a hard time either way trying to get on this main system. And if you don't really know which way to expand and you have areas like this part of space here that has very few planets, then that's what I did here. For instance, I kept building up habitats, and at first the influence stopped over here, so then I built habitats in here. Then I could grab a habitat in here, which gave me access to this star, which then also gave me access to this star. And I think with another habitat here, a bit more influence, we can actually grab the Chorus system as well. And yeah, that's going to help me fill up the map without having to you know, go for a lot of outposts or things like that. Habitats really awesome, in my opinion, the best superstructure. And if you're gonna invest extra effort in other parts, then of course, you know, I would say a ring world first. If you're having some energy credits problems, you can definitely do a Dyson sphere as well. And then if you have left over, but honestly I could use up all the influence that I have to still expand my empire at this point, then of course you could go for the array as well, and probably the laboratory. At this point it's not going to make that much of a difference because all of the research that I've got here are extremely long already, and it's stuff that just gives me extra bonuses, except for some of the weapons like the Giga Cannon that I'm developing here. And then on this ring world, of course, which I think is really cool as well, you can build oh, okay, you can only build one. That is actually interesting. That's something that I didn't know. So we're still learning from this playthrough, but I cannot build a second spaceport because I already built a spaceport around the ring world. So this is only one spaceport for all of them, which I'm not sure if this observatory then is going to increase the output of all of the labs on the entire ring world. And then of course, you know, if you want to keep going, it's like a major mineral sinks needed to actually finish these. And with the ring world, you actually get a lot of benefits right off the bat. So you just need to build like at first, just like in Eve, basically a nanite box that is going to build up the frame, and after that, with the frame, I think again costing minerals, it's 20,000 per section, which gives you another perfect 25 tile planets for you to grab. So let's also grab a little bit of research here. Again, this is the type of research that I get now. Building cost my 5%, energy weapons plus 5%, shield hit points. I like this one, for instance. Or I could still unlock the Guardian Point Defense, which is probably one of the final. Well, it's tick 3, so maybe not. But all of that is definitely less important at this point compared to unlocking the right technologies for your Ascension perks and all of the other good stuff in here. But yeah, the ring world I think is what I'm most proud of, and is definitely pretty cool. So I may just finish this one off just for myself and see if anything else happens in the game. But other than that, I actually consider this playthrough done. The game has been patched as well, so there are some other changes, and I think it's gonna be a good time to end this series, look into a next playthrough to take our lessons there, and maybe I'll cover that the same way, a different way. We'll see how all of that works out. But for now, this is going to be it for this Stellaris series with the Utopia expansion. It's pretty cool. The one thing that I would say to keep in mind is that it takes a decently long time until you get part of that new gameplay, and for that reason I would once again highly recommend going for Voidborn as quickly as possible. It does change the dynamic of the game. You could try to expand more quickly using them, or you could build up vertically, as you would say, such as what I've done here in the system by spamming as many of these habitats as possible, which are great ways to expand, to build up, and to get a stronger economy. Thank you very much for watching, guys, and I will see you all next time.